Well, with my new toe brakeless pedals coming in the next few days, I decided to play around a little bit with vJoy, and I couldn't get Joystick Gremlin to work. It opens an off screen, and I just can't get it to open maximize or anything. So I gave up, and I went to UCR. And the idea here is because whenever you map, we have two axes. We have the left wheel brake, and we have the right wheel brake. And except for in the Spitfire, which is differential, they're all two axis. It requires one full axis, X on one controller, X on another, or X on one and Y on another. Two axis, and I don't really want to tie that up. I don't want to tie up two axis, and it would not really be very easy to use like that. So I want just one axis, and ideally it would be a twisty stick. And I do have a VPC, but I've got it locked down. But I may unlock that so I can use it as a twisty. Then I can just twist it left for the left toe brake and right. And it's incrementally. It's an axis. It's not a digital all or on. But one thing you do have to do is set one of your axes to provide a digital input. And so using UCR, I added a stick and an axis. And right now I have it mapped to, I have a mod on my Warthog throttle that replaced the eraser stick, and I've got a full axis on it. And so you can see as I move that, it also activates vJoy stick 1 button 1, which I will use as a modifier in DCS. That's only when I move it to the left. When I move it to the right of center, it does not. So because of in my previous video I showed that you can use one axis to do different functions provided one of them has a modifier. If you don't apply that modifier, then it just switches between them. You can't have them both applied. So let's take a look at how that works in DCS. And I've already I got it set up, but I cleared them so that we could go through this whole process. And the easiest plane to see this with will be the 109, the Mr. Smith, and because we can see them without having to slump down into the seat. And so we'll let that start up. It's not fast. And so vJoy, you just download it and install it. UCR, you just download it, extract it, and run it. There's no installation. And then you set the range on that axis. I didn't show the numbers. But you set the range, so again, from center, you want the light off. And just as you move it slightly left or right, you want it activated the whole time throughout the rest of that left or right range. Alright, I do have a mission that I created for the toe brake testing, and we'll just jump in the 109. And if you're going to turn off the rudder assist in the 109, then you absolutely need toe brakes. You might get away with dancing on the keyboard, but again, that's all on, all off, and so it's kind of a tap dance. It's much better to have the axis. Alright, first of all, you can see I'm going to move this, and I have no input there on those. I do have rudder input, I do have rudder pedals, but no toe brake input on the axis that I'm going to map. So let's take a look at that. We will go to our axis commands. Now, it is important that you do this in a specific order. And again, well, not again, but there may be a much easier way to do this that I'm just ignorant of. If there is, please tell me, because I would like to do that. However, I'm not aware of it. And so, again, now I will say that you do have to do this in a specific order. And if you don't, it won't work. And I'll explain why. But first, we're going to set our right brake, and we're just going to use that axis. And you have to, whenever you specify an axis, you have to go full left and right. And this right here is, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't clear the modifier, and so that's what we've got to do. We're going to clear this modifier, and this is a press and hold modifier. It's not a switch. Okay, and now you did see why you have to do this in a specific order, because if I move it full left and right, it will activate that modifier, and it'll do it on both of them, and then I can't assign it to both of them. So we have to do it before we're going to use the one that doesn't use the modifier, which is going to be the one to the right. And see, now I can get just the axis with no modifier. If I had a modifier, I couldn't do that. And so now we're going to say, okay, and we've got that map, and we'll take a look at how to tune it in a minute. Now we're going to add a modifier back, and it is vJoy, and I just move it. It's button 1 on vJoy. Alright, now I have to go back to axis, and we want to do the left analog. And now when I move it through the full range, it's going to automatically use the modifier, and it's the same axis as before. And so now we get hit that slider, I guess. So what we want to do now is set up our tuning. Otherwise they won't work well. So we'll do the left side first. We'll go axis tune, and I'm looking at a picture that I've already set this up on. These are kind of, they're different. Instead of a dead zone, what you have to do with the one with a modifier or the left wheel brake. And again, if this is only true if you set up your UCR the same way I did mine. If you reversed it, then you would reverse this process. But we're going to use the saturation X, and we're going to drag it over here. We're going to make it a slider, and we're going to drag it just right there and give us a little bit of a dead zone there. Doesn't have to be much. And that's good for that one. And now we're going to do this one. We're going to set a dead zone because it works the opposite way. And so we're going to set the, we're going to make it a slider, and we're going to set a dead zone until we have just a little bit extending beyond that center point. And on this one, we need to invert it. All right. Now then, we've got complete independent action here. And you can see we're going to jump in the aircraft, and you can see that they will work exactly as intended. Now I'm going to go left toe brake. You can see that going all the way down. Right toe brake, left, right. And you can see I can steer this aircraft that way. And you need to be able to do this. So there you have it. And if that were a twisty stick, I could be doing it the same way, just by twisting it left and right. And if I had rudder pedals, I could still use those, you know, to work the rudders as separate from the toe brakes. So there you have it.